Norwalk, where a joint news conference is now underway at City Hall after that fiery crash on I-95 earlier this morning. Let's take a listen in.
The Connecticut State Police to give some updates as to what's happening with the state.
Thank you. Major Chad Gomez, CHAD-GOMEZ. Like the mayor said, this morning around 05:30 in the morning, Troop G responded to 95 South in the area of exit 15 for a 3-car motor vehicle accident. Upon arrival, there was a tractor trailer vehicle fully engulfed, and we called FD assets and secured the scene. Currently, we are still investigating using our collision analysis and reconstruction squad and truck squad. They have responded to the complexity to assist Troop G. There's no injuries reported at this time for any of the involved people. What are we doing? CSP is focusing on traffic safety along with DOT and investigating the accident scene, which we should be momentarily cleared with our accident investigation. I think we should be done probably within 30 minutes. Also, in addition to that, we are going to keep the scene secure for all the DOT workers, contractors, FD, and everything like that. So we could be there for a while. What should people be doing? We should be avoiding the area. We should defer to DOT as they post most up-to-date information on road closures and diversions and what's going to happen next. And I think our partners are probably going to talk a little bit about that, but that's kind of where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you, Major. I did get a call from the governor this morning. He's recommending that anybody that can work from home for the next couple of days do so until we can get things straightened out. And I think that's really a great idea. Next, I know because this happened under a bridge, there's always going to be a lot of questions about the structural integrity. So we have Don Remsen here from the Department of Transportation. I'd like to have him address that issue.
Yes, good morning. Don Remsen, State of Connecticut DOT Director of Highway Maintenance, District 3. Right now, as you heard, they're continuing with the investigation. Once the investigation is done, we will be able to hopefully get our engineers underneath there to look at the structure. There's a lot of utilities underneath there, at which time are all being shut off, so we could get underneath there to see the damage. Right now, we can't tell you what's going on with the damage because they haven't been able to fully inspect the bridge. So we're hoping to have another meeting sometime later today with the engineers and our construction people to see what the next step for the bridge is. But we can't get under there until they're done with the investigation. DEP has cleaned up and we could get our crews under there as safe as we can to investigate. So I know it's not a lot of information, but until we get engineers on the ground, we won't be able to give you any more information. Thank you.
Also, we have Richard Swan from Department of Environmental and Energy Protection. We would like to talk about the situation and the sound in the river, Norwalk River. So,
thank you, Mayor. Richard Swan, Assistant Director of the Emergency Response Unit for Connecticut Deep. Our unit responded to work in conjunction with Norwalk Fire on this tanker fire. The tanker fire consumed, we're figuring about half the load. It originally started with 8,500 gallons. We currently believe that the front compartment has another 3,100 gallons and 1,000 gallons in the second compartment. Questions have been asked about the type of foam that was used, and I can assure the general public that everything that was used was the green foam, non-PFAS. Again, non-PFAS. The runoff from the area was limited because of the amount of gasoline that was consumed in the fire. And we have been able to contain it to a retention pond behind the mall, and it did not make it to the Norwalk River at all. We do have booms in place, absorbent booms. We have contractors on the river just as an added precaution, because obviously our biggest concern is the environment. I'll turn it over to the chief.
Good morning, Chief Gino Gatto, Norwalk Fire Department. As you heard, 5:30 this morning, a call came in for I-95 southbound for a motor vehicle accident. When they hit the floor and started to respond, they could see the column of smoke in the air and immediately upgraded the assignments. We ended up as a third alarm fire, which means almost all of Norwalk Fire Department assets were there. Our stations were covered by our mutual aid partners, New Canaan, Westport, Rowayton, Stanford Fire delivered their hazmat unit as well as 2 engines, a truck. 2 chiefs were there. We also had to call in our partner from King Industries, which has a brand new foam fighting vehicle based on the petroleum that was on fire. The best situation or tactical to put it out would be with foam. And as you heard, all the foam is green. There is no PFAS in it. And an update I just got now on the tanker is they cannot move the tanker until it gets offloaded, whatever product is still left. And they're hopefully to do that within the next couple of hours. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Also, we know that traffic is a mess right now. I got an email from an angry man this morning saying that he was upset because he took him a long time to get to his business in Sono. So we're asking everybody to be patient. We'll be rerouting traffic as appropriate. I'm going to bring up Chief Walsh and have him explain the situation as it exists right now and what their plans are for the next couple of days.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Chief James Walsh, Norwalk Police Department. At approximately 5:30 this morning, Norwalk Combined Dispatch received a report of a large vehicle collision on I-95 adjacent to Fairfield Avenue. At that time, we had approximately 12 officers respond and 3 supervisors. Upon their arrival, they immediately saw that several roads in the adjacent area needed to be closed down. They worked in conjunction with the Connecticut State Police to facilitate the I-95 closure. Closures began at exit 13, which heavily impacted local traffic along Route 1. Currently, where we are right now, we have multiple intersections that are impacted that run along adjacent to I-95. We have held over adequate manpower planning forward. Currently, right now, what we're asking for is everybody to monitor our social medias for updates as different updates. We can give out different updates in regards to road closures and as we are able to free based on the assessment of the I-95. And we also have seen an uptick in car accidents and some disturbances on the road. So we're asking for everybody's patience because we're going to have Norwalk residents heavily impacted by this. And we're also working in conjunction with Norwalk Public Schools to assure safe children's safety and transportation, not only this morning, but in the afternoon as they leave school. Thank you.
So that's probably about the only information we can give right now because, as we say, this is an unfolding emergency. We're getting more information pretty much every 15, 20 minutes or so about when things develop. We will be having another press briefing probably around 2 or 2:30. I think the governor is going to be on the press briefing at 2 o'clock. I believe he's going to have a press briefing that you can watch online. So, I'm sorry? Oh, okay. So anyway, we will take any questions you might have. Michelle, you want to come up and be here to, Michelle DeLuca is with our emergency management for the city of Norwalk. And if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask, we'll try to answer them as best we possibly can right now.
Can you tell us a little bit about, you said that the closures started at exit 13. How far do they extend? And we were in some of the back roads and tractor trailers are getting stuck pulling down utility lines. Can you talk to a little bit to, I know obviously the obvious advice is to check the website and social media, but anything that you can tell us about the area that's enclosed and maybe some, areas where people can circumvent and try to get around it?
Well, a lot of the GPS apps, Waze and such are diverting a lot of the civilian traffic. We're working with state DOT to come up with the tractor trailer plan. Some of the messaging that they've already put out is already south of New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, to advise tractor trailers to avoid this stretch of 95, to use 84 in other areas to avoid this area. Our plan is already to push back the road closures, possibly to have the tractor trailers get off so they could traverse along Route 1 to avoid those areas that you pointed out where there's low bridges and tough corners.
Take that to that.
Yeah, just currently we have exit 14 shut down. And we, initially we had exit 13 shut down, and a lot of those tractor trailer trucks had to go through more back roads when they had to get off 13. So we made the decision to bump it up to 14, which is right near the accident scene. So we feel that has improved some things. And then the other thing is, the Merritt Parkway, a lot of those trucks may want to go that way, and we just want to encourage that those people that's prohibited because they'll get stuck under those bridges. So if you could help us out with that, we'd appreciate that.
Will Eversource be part of the next update at all? I know that there were crews out there. We're just curious what's going on with the utilities.
Good morning. So Eversource and South Norwalk Electric Works were actually part of our morning briefing. They are on site as well. And again, are working with us very closely. We can reach out to them about the afternoon briefing as well. But I know they really are focusing on scene safety, doing the assessments as much as possible. So they may not be able to get away, but both SNU and Eversource are working with us closely.
The petroleum that was carried on the tanker, was it confirmed to be gasoline or diesel oil or something to that?
It was confirmed gasoline.
It was confirmed gasoline. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I know it's still, obviously, everything's under investigation, but at this point, is it safe to say that at least around exit 15, that area will be closed for at least a couple of days? Is that safe to say?
At this point, until we investigate the bridge, the damage, our goal is to open up the road as soon as possible with all the traffic we have going up and down I-95. So our ultimate goal is to open it safely as quickly as we can. Once the engineers get in there, we determine what we could do, and if we could get it open, we're going to get it open.
It's unfortunate that it happened right under the bridge. As you know, there's been several other incidents around the state and elsewhere where when a tanker truck caught fire underneath the bridge ultimately had to be replaced. Hopefully that won't be the case here, but we won't know that for probably a few more hours. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Again, probably around 2 or 2:30, we'll update. We'll keep updates throughout the day. Press, you're welcome to stay here if you wish, and we'll come back here in about 2 hours, about 2:30. Okay.
Thank you.
That's the speaker.
We've been following some major breaking news out of Norwalk, as you heard from officials and authorities there over the last 10 minutes about sort of the size and scope of what happened this morning. Interstate 95 now closed for hours after a tractor trailer, a fuel truck, and another vehicle collided on the southbound side of the highway this morning and then caught on fire. I think the first point of business to note is there no injuries reported. The governor told us that this morning. Officials reiterated that, no injuries reported. But it sounds like the holdup now to get 95 back open is going to be the integrity, the safety of that bridge. Officials saying it could take hours before engineers can get in and give the all clear, or say that some sort of rebuild must take place with that bridge that you can see live now from Drone Ranger. That cleanup continues, but again, no injuries. Officials emphasizing to avoid that area and to certainly have as much patience as possible. Stay with NBC Connecticut as we continue to bring you the newest and latest information on the traffic backup fire investigation. We're going to keep it here, though, and look at the images and kind of recap things. If you are just joining us and maybe, you work a different shift, you slept in, you didn't know what happened. I-95 has been closed now since about 5:30 this morning when this accident occurred. Again, it happened on the southbound side of the highway after a tractor trailer, a fuel truck, and another vehicle collided this morning and then caught on fire. No injuries reported. But right now, as you look more at the images from earlier today at about 10 of 6 as to the fire is burning, it's going to be a traffic nightmare for folks in Norwalk. You heard officials talk about how it could impact schools there and other people who are going to have to make their way around Norwalk. We also heard about how folks as far away as New York and New Jersey and the Mid-Atlantic, maybe tractor trailers, will get updates about ways to avoid this. We know 95 is such a major throughway into and out of New England, and Norwalk kind of in the heart of that. So certainly if you are one to use an app like a Waze app or something, in all likelihood, it's going to divert you from this. But where is it going to divert you to? You're still going to probably be stuck in traffic. To that end, officials saying, avoid this area by all means if you can. and have as much patience as possible as officials do their due diligence. We heard from even Deep about the PFAS there, and that it's on a green chemical that was used that's environmentally friendly. People may have concerns about that, but I think as you look live from Drone Ranger, the big issue right now is the structural integrity of that bridge. Had this not happened underneath the bridge, happened somewhere else on 95, in theory, this gets clear and that highway is back open in both directions. You can also note the traffic back up there. We heard one official mention how people are obviously frustrated by what's going on, but officials are doing the best they can to make sure people can get to work, get where they have to go. We heard from our colleague at the top of the 11 a.m. news, Toy Thornton, who's been there for a few hours now, and how long it took him to get from New Haven to Norwalk. What normally would have been, a much shorter drive took him about 3 times as much time to get there. So we're going to stay on top of this breaking news. We're expecting a news conference with Governor Ned Lamont and other officials, maybe around 2, but keep it here. Social media, NBCConnecticut.com, the NBC Connecticut app are going to be your good friends this morning as we keep you apprised of this fiery crash on I-95 on the southbound side with a tractor trailer, a fuel truck, and another vehicle. I'm Kevin Nathan. We apologize for your big fans of Taylor Kinsler and CT Live, but we had to bring you this breaking news, and we'll stay on top of it on air and online all day as you look live in